Hello, and thank you for joining our webinar. Today, we will be talking about Satori Softare ACE replacement options. Today's webinar is scheduled to last around 30 minutes or so, and it is being recorded. If you would like to re-watch the webinar, or you have to drop off for some reason, the recording will be posted to the Satori Softare website shortly after we complete the webinar. We will not be answering any questions verbally during the course of this webinar, but please feel free to enter any questions you may have into the questions box you can see on your screen. Our Solutions Engineering Manager, Randy Walker, will be monitoring that box and will reply back to you in the same way. I'm Rob Perrin, the Director of Merchandising, and I will be your moderator today. Joining me today is John Melia, Senior Regional Sales Executive for Satori Softare. Hello, John, and welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. This is John Melia over at Satori Softare. I wanted to, first of all, thank everybody for taking the time to attend today. I know you guys all have a very busy schedule, so we'll try to keep the webinar to 30 minutes today, but also focus on the main topics that we wanted to address and try to get you guys as much information as we can today. To look at the topics and the events that we're going to cover, we're going to look at how we got here, why we're all on this call today, and kind of what brought us to this point. Why the timing of this is critical, and this is something that some of the companies that we talk to might not understand the rationale behind, especially around ACE, why the time frame is so important, and we'll cover that today. Understanding the ACE end-of-life announcement, and again, the time frames that align with that. We'll talk through a little bit of the solutions, how we can help, a little bit more about Satori as a company. Some of you guys are familiar with us from the relationships we have on the pre-sort side, but we'll kind of cover where else Satori fits in, and then we'll talk through some next steps. So as we move on to the next slide, I'm not sure if I have control here. Here we go. Perfect. Right now, I'd like to talk a little bit about how we got here. Many of you all know that the products that we're going to talk through today and the ones being affected by the end of life, especially the ACE, the Mass Consolidate, and the Data Red IQ have been in use in many of our accounts for 15, 20, 25 years. And over this time period, kind of a lot's changed. The landscape, the service, the daily interaction has changed dramatically, and a lot of that has to do with the acquisition scope and who was kind of controlling the applications over that period of time. Most of the people that we talked to got involved during the postal soft days, and the response and the feedback that we had from that period of time was very strong as the company was building. The customer service was very strong. The products, as I said, have been in use in many applications for 20-plus years. And as they were bought out by business objects and SAP, the organizations got larger and larger. And the focus and the direction on the postal space got to be less and less. And what we've heard is very much in the marketplace is that the support, the interaction, the education, and the client focus really kind of drifted during those SAP days. And as we all know, it's a very large ERP company and not necessarily focused day-to-day on the postal market. So we were actually really excited when they made the decision to kind of move away from this space. And we really think that there's an opportunity that was created not only for our clients but also for Satori, which is why we acted as quickly as we did and as aggressively as we did. First of all, purchasing some intellectual property and products from SAP, and then also designing transition products for others. So our goal here is to kind of help bring back the focus to this market and the dedication to these products that was there years ago. And I think a lot of the individuals on the phone that have been in relationships with us for the past 2 years have kind of seen that change in the support, the education, and the outreach to our clients, much like the event today. The main reason I think that that focus is there is really the core focus of Satori is around that postal space. So we're confident that even in this transition that you guys will be experiencing or have experienced on the ACE side will hopefully be as smooth and treated with as much support as a lot of our other transactions have. If we can move on to the next slide, please. Perfect. I'm not sure how many of you have attended the traveling roadshows that we've had throughout the country, but there's been a number in some of the major cities like Boston and New York and Chicago. And a lot of our clients have said that they've seen a lot of old faces. And a lot of this has to do with, over the past couple of years, I think the last count is around 22 people that we've brought over from the old Postal Soft days. Such titles as the VP of Development, the VP of Customer Service, the VP of Sales, the VP of Marketing, not to mention many of the support staff that you've all interacted with historically at Postal Soft, we've been able to bring back to Satori. And hopefully this will show kind of the focus that we have on this market, the understanding that we have of clients like just like you, and really the understanding of not only the products, but the code, the goals, and the business drivers that keep you guys up at night. So we're really trying to get back to that customer focus in the postal space and really kind of deliver the solutions required to allow you guys to operate your business. And the main driver behind that is we really understand the critical nature that some of the software that you guys are using is essential to what you're delivering to your clients on a day-to-day basis. And we really want to take that into account whenever we're interacting, and also as we're developing these solutions to transition, keeping in mind that how critical these are to the operation, that there can't be any downtime, and the transition hopefully can be as seamless as possible, because in many instances these products have been in use and built up, and the knowledge base behind them has been there for 15, 20 years in many cases. In other situations, we've heard from some of our clients that this is an opportunity to kind of reevaluate and not necessarily move away from some of those traditional products, but give them a chance to assess if there's any other requirements, business drivers, or needs that might be able to be worked into their workflows, to their day-to-day interactions. And it's been a nice opportunity for us to sit down with our clients and kind of talk through some of the challenges that they're facing, and maybe use this as an opportunity to address some things that have been on the secondary to-do lists for a while now. So that's why we mentioned there at the bottom that this kind of gives us an opportunity to reevaluate where we are in our day-to-day operations. If we can move to the next slide. And really, now I'd like to talk through some of the time frames, because this is one of the main things that we hear from our clients quite regularly when we go out to sit down with them, is the understanding of why this time frame, or what is the driver to act now on something like this. And there's a lot of people that are aware that the ACE, the data write, and the match consolidate have been announced end of life by SAP, and that will take effect in March of 2015. And one of the things that is really impacting, or the impetus behind the driver, especially around ACE, is how ACE operates. And ACE is dependent on directories to be updated on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, or the product will cease to work or function as it normally does. So in many cases, like with Match Consolidate or Data Write IQ, these products will continue to, they won't be supported any longer by SAP, but they'll continue to operate. Whereas with ACE, once this deadline of the March of 2015 comes, directories will no longer be supplied, which will mean this product will cease to operate. And that's one of the main drivers behind this webinar today, is a lot of our clients have said, well, because of this impetus of ACE not being able to function anymore, we really want to address that as phase one. Even if we have some other products that are being affected by this end of life, there's obviously more of an urgency behind the ACE application. As I mentioned before, the data write and match will continue to operate. If you guys are being affected by those, we do have replacement options, upgrade plans, and schedules that are in place that we can talk to you about, both from a cloud basis and on-premise. We won't really get into that discussion today, because we want to keep this one focused to the ACE replacement opportunity. But please know that there is options on the data write and the match that we can get into in further discussions with any client in a direct manner. Another item to keep in mind is that as of this March of 2015 date, you'll no longer be an SAP client. So that's one of the things to keep in mind, is SAP was really the driver behind this end of life, and really what we're trying to do is work with all of our clients to, as seamlessly as possible, build a transition plan to allow them to keep as much of the functionality, the workflows, and the job files that they've built over the years without having too much disruption. So that's something really that we always like to bring up with everyone, is that we didn't necessarily create this date. We're just trying to help you guys navigate through a situation that has come about. If we go to the next slide, please. Here's kind of a visualization of the time frame that we have coming up. And one of the things that's pretty interesting is that when this was first announced, probably over a year ago now, it seemed like there was quite a long runway as far as when this end of life would actually come to be. But right now we're less than 6 months away, and for many of the clients that we're interacting with on a daily basis, it can fall into some of the busiest times of the year between now and the holiday season through the new year and things like that. The other thing that we really wanted to talk to everyone about was the importance of the resources on our end to be able to handle this conversion. And what I mean by that is that we're trying to work through a very large client base that's all faced with a very similar challenge. So we're going through individually educating all of our clients and talking to them about the best strategies for them moving forward. However, what we're trying to avoid is a large percentage of these clients drifting towards the February-March timeframe. So we, like all of you all, have resources that we need to allocate, and as much as we're trying to spread this out over a period of time, we are faced with a little bit of a challenge of a large percentage of the population has still yet to act on this. So that's one of the things we wanted to bring up today, is that we're having proactive conversations with a lot of accounts to try to guide them towards a decision and also allow us to handle this flow so that there's no disruptions for any of our clients as we get closer to the end of life date. If we could move to the next slide, please. So this is an area where we want to jump into how does this ACE transition work, right? And there was a lot of ways that Satori could have approached this, because we have our own CAS engine, which about 8,000 clients are using, which really left us to try to decide what would be best for our clients. And in a lot of discussions internally, what we were really hoping to do was design an offering that would allow our clients to maintain as much use and familiarity with ACE as possible, but also allow them to be able to continue to use the product, which means being able to have a new engine that ran ACE and being able to supply new updates and directories on a go-forward basis. So we talked with our development staff, and really we're kind of tasked them with being able to figure out or determine a way to build this type of solution. So we were really excited when the whole concept came to fruition and was just kind of visualized here on the screen. And when we have meetings with you, we can get into this in a lot more detail. But at a high level, what we've done is taken the engine that drives ACE and been able to replace that with the Satori Architect CAS engine. So if you think about it, the ACE offering itself needs those directories in order to continue to function, really the engine that drives ACE. So we've taken that out and replaced it with a Satori engine so that we can supply new directories and new updates on a month-to-month basis. Now, what you've also illustrated here is because this new engine that's operating this is Satori-based, it has some additional functionality. So how we process, you'll see some improvements in the speed, and also additional data services. And one we listed here was the NCOA 48-month processing can also now be included within that ACE offering. So not only do we feel like we've been able to allow clients to maintain a lot of the workflows and job files that they've created, and also maintain some of the access to the ACE views and the edit job function that they've had in the past, where they hit the command line and make it run. In short, we wanted to replace this engine and allow it to look exactly the same to you, the user. To understand Satori as a company a little bit, right here we've put up a kind of a broad overview of some of the product portfolio. A lot of the people on the line have been clients of ours on the pre-sort side for quite some time, and we have a very strong standing in the mailing community. However, there's also some features that a lot of our clients are not aware of. And those can be anything from the Architect engine that we were talking about earlier to data services, where we're able to help clients with things like NCOA processing or depression data, or things like deceased information or incarcerated information live. We can also do things like appending data. We made a purchase a while back of the Monticello software, some post-sort planning functionality that's played very nicely into our core focus around that mailing space. We also have some lower-end products like the bulk mailer, which some of our kind of smaller clients might use. And then there's some integrated applications around like Satori Architect, where we can take our software and integrate into websites. So the main thing that we really wanted to show you here today is that there's a broad offering of solutions that Satori feels it can bring to the table that are well position us not only in the postal space, but also to provide some additional functionality that people within that area have been asking for a number of years. So when looking to make this decision, and the challenge that a lot of the clients that we're talking to face is the fact that the ACE engine is either going to cease operating, so many of them have to either rip out their CAS engine and start anew, or try to find some type of a replacement like the one that Satori is offering. So it faces a unique challenge. There's some systems that they've had in place for 20, 25 years, and how do they go about trying to gain this new relationship now that SAP's end of life this? And one of the things that we wanted to kind of point out is some of the clients we've talked to or have asked, well, why don't we reach out to SAP and kind of maintain a relationship with them? And one of the main things that we've talked through with them and that they've raised to us as a major concern is the direction that SAP's taken on this topic. Not only have they end of life some of this core technology, but unless the organization is $1 billion or over, they're actually going to force the conversation towards a channel, which could be a positive thing or a negative. In our mind, one of the things that it lacks that's very important in the postal industry is that knowledge of the space, the focus on that industry, the understanding of the challenges that you all face on a day-to-day basis. And given what we had talked about before as far as the reacquisition of talent, the focus on the product sets, the development of those products, and the increased education and support that we're trying to put forward, we really wanted to bring that up as one of the things that we see as a major differentiator in how we're trying to position ourselves as a company and why this space is so important to us. With regard to next steps, if anyone would like to contact me, I'm happy to send out an email to the group following this call today. Within that, I can provide my contact details. We're happy to set up everyone with a local contact in their area to sit down and either have a conference call or a meeting to discuss any requirements or needs or how they might be affected by this. There's a lot of questions that sometimes come up as far as how their deployments are affected, if they're within the guidelines of using this type of a transitional product. And we're happy to sit down, and each case can be very unique, so we're happy to go through these on a one-by-one basis and really get to understand what requirements you have, what the fears you have with this conversion are, and really address those in a one-by-one basis. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, we're happy to schedule those. And the other item I wanted to mention is that, as we discussed earlier today, it's hopefully within our reach to make this transition around ACE as painless as possible. We, again, realize that it's kind of core to a lot of what you're doing, that without a CAS report and the ability to cleanse this data before it goes through a lot of the other operations, that's really a critical value to a lot of the clients that you guys are working with. So hopefully we can make this transition as seamless as possible and allow you guys to maintain a lot of the intellectual capital that you've brought to that product over the years. And at this point, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to learn a little bit, at least at a high level, about what we're doing around ACE. And the main takeaway I'd like to provide to everybody is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a complete rebuild. There is ways to maintain a lot of the applications that you have today, and it's our goal to sit down with you and learn how this transition could take place and what you want to gain out of it, and design a solution that would best fit those needs. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, John. That was a great presentation. If you would like to learn more about our ACE replace options, or you would like to schedule a demonstration, please contact John Melia. His contact information is currently shown on the screen. This webinar has been recorded, and the recording as well as the slide deck from the presentation will be available shortly after our completion on SatoriSoftware.com. If you participate in social media, you can connect with Satori Software via Twitter, on LinkedIn, or on Facebook. On behalf of all of us here at Satori Software, I would like to thank you for attending our webinar on Satori Software ACE replacement options today.